Hello there guys, welcome back to another Flying Bird video. So that you guys know, this is actually recorded on my phone because my current mic is broken. I've got to get my computer looked at unfortunately, so there won't be as much content on my channel in what little there was. So, inspired by Trev aka Sheerforce, I wanted to do my top 5 matches that I would want to see. And that I think, I talked to one person before this and I said, yeah, I really agree with you, these would be some great matches to see. Please keep in mind that they are heavily biased, my predictions, but in all honesty, I think there'd be some great matches to see, and they'll really showcase who I think. I think these guys are not the top 10 best league players. I think this definitely features my top 5 list of best league battlers, which is something that is really important to me. So let's get on to it. Number 5 is White, the coach of the LA Landers in the NBA, versus Shammy, the head coach of the Brooklyn Braveries in the FBL. These are two very highly decorated and respected players because of how well and how consistent they are. So what I do for each one is I break down who each is and then give a prediction. So Wyatt is the prodigy. Many are surprised to learn this 14-year-old child whose sole purpose is to make individuals feel stupid after he beats them. Many could argue he's one of the top 5 league players in the NBA, and personally when I ranked my players in the NBA before this season, I ranked White at number 2. He's an incredibly talented player who is robbed by hacks, and that's something that's really, I think if a player is really robbed by hacks, it really just shows the caliber of player it is, and because it means that it's something out of their control. On the other hand, Shami is the king of the skies, and lies, which is fine in my opinion. The best competitor in the FBL, which is an immensely tense opponent who can throw off his opponents with ease. Shami relies upon making big plays in comparison to his opponents. He loves those big plays, which seem to his opponent to be his most logical play, but he gets it. Alas, poor Eric. The prediction of this game, I have to give it to White. White is a great team builder and battler, and Shammy in comparison is still a big threat, but White has proven himself in a very competitive league, which is the NBA Kanto, which I think is a lot more competitive than the FBL, and therefore, if this match was hypothetically going to happen, I think it would be a 2-0 in White's favour. Next up is number 4. This game in the realm of possibilities is not a massive unlikelihood. Apparently, Emmanuel knows Envy's cousin, or something like that, he told me once, which is really good. So, Envy's a Lord of Heat. It is believed that cavemen, aka Jamvad, discovered fire, aka Envy, or need to eat a fajita. Envy is an extremely charismatic battler, and that is due to his immense skill and commentary style. Envy's league record in the GBA was absolutely incredible, but was overpowered at the last hurdle, which I think you'll never see a team as so powerful as Georgia's in the league. Emmanuel, on the other hand, he is like the OG Gypsy King in the MPL, except in the NBA. Whereas I use Gypsy King is probably people that watch my channel are a bit more familiar with Gypsy than compared to Emmanuel. Who, if it wasn't for a man and his bunny, would have had one of the most dominant league victories I've ever seen. A man whose talent with Pokemon is something who's shown a mixture of skill and team building. He does everything so precise. I know that from personally, that when he helped me build and things like that, it is so precise. It's like, why do you have 164 SPDF? Oh, that means that you can take 2 X scissors from a canopy instead of 1. It's like, oh, gosh, that's really smart. This match is between 2 heavily stacked sides against one another, who would both require skill and the right team building to gain the upper hand. It'll be a very topsy-turvy battle, but I think one of them will either make one bad play and the other capitalize. And judging off consistency and lack of over-prediction, I give it to Emmanuel. Similar to how MV played against Lars, that's how I gave my decision to Emmanuel as a close 2-0. And so number 3, Matty Brolick, coach of the St. Louis Russia Rams, versus Rob PokeC TCG Gamer 1288, aka the head coach. Gosh, this is how long ago. Dallas Starmies. So, Matty, in my opinion, has cemented himself in the top 5 league players I've met and personally know. He's a great player, a very charismatic player as well. He doesn't do anything very flashy, but he does a lot of things. He goes into each match with a plan, And as seen in the NPL semi-finals, he did say that unfortunately matchup did get the better hand of him, and that's why he lost. But I think Matty's a proven player as well, which is something you don't get to say about many players. In comparison, Rob, before I heard of A12 in the NBA, I knew who Rob was, and I heard that he's one of the most hot and cold players you out there. Apparently, I know from a fact that if you play Rob when he's on a streak, it is like trying to climb a Mount Everest using a fork. He's extremely hard to beat. Very good team, but a very good ladder player. But in saying that, this is league play. The prediction for me would have to be, I think these opponents would be two very equally skilled opponents, but in my heart of hearts, I know that Matty would probably take this 2-0. Another very close match, probably maybe a 40-60 turn match. I just see Matty as just holding his nerve for the most of the match, and that's what would cement him this win. Number 2, George, aka Skeptel MC, versus Iron Flash Gaming, aka King Zazo, aka the head coach of the Detroit Butterfree. So George, aka the Boy Wonder, has been on par with many of the best PokeTubers. What I mean by PokeTubers is those YouTubers who have thousands of subs and are extremely talented and mainly stick with Pokemon content. So for example, George is on par with someone like Chimpact, someone like Envy, Fizz, and things like that. But I wouldn't put them in the same category as a Gypsy King, or a Matty Brolic, or Anthony Zazo. Because those guys are extremely talented, but just less known. George is known for his immense team-building skills, and with his overpowered draft, left many players in the dust. Anthony, aka the man who brings 4 mons to a league match and wins 1-0, and gets hacked worse than a young man at the Pokies, has cemented himself in my top 5 most cancerous league players, but at the same time, in my top 5 league players. Zazo is a man who has revolutionized the way several players look at Pokemon and easily disposes of his opponents. There's just one catch: he has to be trying. If not, it's a miserable day at the office. This game, in my opinion, would go to Zazo. He's one of the most complete players, if not the most complete player in the game of Pokemon, a sublime team, a phenomenal battler. But he may have to bring more than 4 mons for this match. Bringing 5 should be a good match. I'm predicting Zazo to take this at 2-0. Now, this is my absolute dream match, and a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you've met other YouTubers and other players that you've seen, as if they would not take a higher spot. And when I first was introduced to one of these YouTubers, I was like, I know who the perfect opponent for him would be. This match, for me, if this was like a league final, like if these two opponents didn't play once in the group stage, I'm like, alright, we're in the grand finals now, we two are playing each other, I'd be like, Lord. This game is between A12 and Gypsy King. Arguably, these are who I rate the top 2 best league players. A12 is I still think is the best rated league player in my opinion. In contrast, Gypsy is a close second. Very, very close. They could both tip each other off on any given day of the week. But let's get into the breakdown of it. So A12 is known for his stickers stall and absurd hyper-offensive teams with random megas, and in my opinion is the best league battler. There's one catch. He's only been in one league, NBA Kano. His last season was an indication of his true prowess. He tried to run a Sun team and got absolutely bamboozled. The best indication of me seeing how well he performed was the Season 5 NBA Kano Championships. And apart from Season 8, made every faction of the NBA Finals during my time I was there. A known victim of hacks and Aron, he did lose to because he prepped for a level 1 Aron. I brought a level 100 one. Fun times. A12 is an incredibly talented player. The story about Season 5 was that Emmanuel was undefeated for 11 games in a row. He lost twice, lost in round 12, and lost the final to A12 both times. The first time Emmanuel lost, he didn't take it. He took it half-assed. Second time, he took it serious, and A12 still came off top. People fear A12 so much because he drafts the most random things. I saw a match with him only recently where he brought a slacking, and it did work. He is an incredible battler who I can see using any Pokemon. But let's get on to his opponent, and his opponent is no laughing matter either. Gypsy King, also known as the man whose voice would lead sailors to their death. So for those who don't get that reference, they used to say mermaids used to sing out to sailors, and sailors would come near the mermaids, and the mermaids would be singing on rocks, and they would crash their ships, just so people would go from there. He's exploded onto the YouTube scene in his run to multiple playoffs in the CFA, NPL, and CPC. Most notably, his undefeated streak in the NPL hosted by Jolt. Reason why I say that is so people don't get confused between the two NPLs. His unique team building sets catch the majority of players off guard, and it could even be dubbed "This man only uploads wins on his channels," since few have lived the tale to say they have defeated Gypsy. Gypsy is an incredibly talented battler. I'm not trying to take anything off him. I think, for me, Gypsy is... He even admits it himself. He is a bit lucky when it comes to hacks, but that's on like very, very little games. He has taken it both ways, and he's a very, very talented player. He absolutely dominates his opponents. It's either a 6-0 or like nothing really close. I've seen him lost twice, and it was only in the CPC when he lost to, I think, Top Tier Boy from memory, or Sam maybe. And he lost to Top Tier Boy, and he did lose to Matty Brolick, but he did play Matty Brolick at an incredibly early time. Now, the outcome of my dream match. So for me, the reason why this is my dream match is for two reasons. They're the two best unknown players in League format. When I say unknown, I mean they do have quite a cult following, but they are both quite minute, like they're under 200 each. Secondly, since not many people have had the chance to play them, they can't sort of brag about it. But also, too, they are very, very humble and very, like, extremely... Just on a personal level, like, they're two very people that you just want to be around, type of thing. I know that Gypsy is a bit of a role model for me, and so is A12. I love him. Gypsy's becoming bigger on YouTube every day. It's shown he's, astronomically rising. But whereas he's playing the unknown, A12 is still unknown. It would be like a David vs. Goliath type thing, which would be really interesting. No, not really. It wouldn't be that. It'd be more like it'd be like Mike Tyson versus what's his name? Buster Douglas. It would be one of those matches to the unknown, who was extremely talented, against the name, who's extremely talented. I can see this match being extremely close, but for me, in my personal opinion, I would just say A12 will take this a very narrow 1-0, because A12 plays the longer game a lot, very, very well. He's a very, very calculated player. He'll clinch it with his babe, his Diggersby 1-0. So guys, if you appreciated me trying to record this and get this up for you guys, please let me know, let me drop a like, drop a comment, and until next time, peace!